Hey everyone, this is Nicholas Peter Ugero, and this is going to be probably just one of the most awkward videos I've had to make before. Um, One of the reasons why I was doing videos was because I was passionate about it. I believe in this stuff, and it makes me feel good to do so. But at the same time, I could have been doing videos discussing some of my issues, some of the things that I've been battling with through addictions. And one of the main addictions that I've had is porn. I was introduced to porn around like 8 and 9 years old, and I remember finding also magazines under my brother's bed, and that really just started rewiring my brain. I started seeking out that stuff more, doing it more often. This is going to be an uncomfortable video. I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, also, like, that was also a thing, and I was always depressed, or not depressed. I was very sorry, guys. I was a very self-conscious kid. I was very shy, very nervous. It was hard for me to speak in public. I didn't have that much confidence, and wasn't I wasn't popular in school. I wasn't the worst kid there, but I was like in the middle. But I just didn't get a lot of attention from girls, and besides maybe some of his friends, but not the ones that I really wanted. And so that kind of like fed into my self-confidence issues and shyness. And that also fueled my porn once that started coming. Because it was rewarding me, it was making me feel good. I was getting pleasure from it. I didn't have to, I was able to look up anyone I wanted or do whatever I wanted as the years went on, going into middle school and high school. And it definitely affected the way I looked at women. The way that society portrays women in advertising definitely had affected my brain and what I'm looking for, what is desirable for me. So my likes were definitely crafted. And then also the porn made it very, very toxic and unhealthy. And my first real girlfriend that I fell in love with, I ended up cheating on her. I was talking to other people, I was watching porn, and I told her about it, and I was the bad guy, and I couldn't change that, and I knew that the porn was a problem. I didn't know at the time, but the porn was the problem, but also my self-esteem issues, and also my unhealthy viewpoint on sex and sexuality, an over-sexualized mindset, very unhealthy. And me being the bad guy in that situation at 16 years old, I didn't have any idea how to deal with any of my problems. So for 7 years, I was in depression. I didn't really grow much as a person. I didn't learn anything to help me out, unfortunately. So that same sexual mindset and what I was attracted to continued from 16 to 23, because I didn't feel any older. I still felt broken. I still felt like a child. I still felt super emotional and unworthy, and I was dealing with having all this love for someone, yet she had none for me, and it definitely screwed me up. And also I had parental issues. My dad would hit me semi-frequently, me and my siblings. My parents fought all the time, didn't have a very stable household in that sense, and so that also gave me some issues, I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe just attachment issues, or wanting to, maybe seeking out the people that are similar to my parents or something. I don't know. But yeah, so my porn addiction continued. I didn't know how to deal with the loss of a relationship. So for those 6 years, I just kept going and trying to date other people, seeing other people. I used to keep track of how many people I had sex with. I lost track at this point. I stopped dating people in 2014, but I still saw people. I was still looking at porn, and so it was still unhealthy. My mindset was still unhealthy. When I would see a woman, I would get all these thoughts and emotions and urges and fantasies and whatever else, and it would just consume me a lot. And a lot of the times when I would finish masturbating, I would feel ashamed, and I couldn't talk. I felt like I couldn't talk to anybody about it. Luckily in 2015, I had a therapist for a bit, on and off for like 2 years. But, and I told him a lot of my sexual stuff, and he recommended I go to a group. And unfortunately, I didn't at the time. That would have definitely set what's happening now in motion back then. But, yeah, so in 2016, I started doing also more learning and finding a lot more of purpose in my life too. So that helped, but the porn was still a constant. And, in 2019, it got my dopamine levels dramatically spiked. The things that I started looking at, just in terms of images and or videos, just whatever, just in the grand scheme, just the things I started looking at, obviously I was upping how bad it was. I had to increase the dopamine for myself in order to have that feel normal to me. And in the beginning of 2019, I started definitely crumbling under this porn addiction. The dopamine levels dramatically increased. I started journaling that year as well, so I was definitely able to track how inconsistent and how divided I feel in my own head, feeling so ashamed of what I'm doing, but then at the same time feeling an unquenchable thirst to continue doing it. Even after maybe a few days of trying to not do it, or maybe a couple weeks of not doing it, then I just relapse and I start looking at it again, and I feel horrible and I shame myself, and I felt like I could never tell anyone ever in my entire life, and I felt so alone. And I was still seeing people, and my mindset obviously wasn't right. And I just get bored so easily with women because of my sexual addictions, because of my self-esteem issues, my lack of self-love, my lack of self-esteem, being so divided within myself that I just can't love myself first and foremost. So that when a woman would tell me that she loved me, I couldn't accept it. And the most recent person I was seeing, that's what happened. Right when she told me she started getting more feelings for me, I started retracting. And I now know it was because I didn't have self-love for myself. And I knew my demons and my secrets, and I knew I had not exposed them to her. And it was a constant weight on me. And so I was showing a lot of interest until that point. And then I started retracting, and then obviously the whole commitment is hard for me. Obviously, it's not just a porn addiction, it's also like a sexting addiction, just communicating with people online, so that type of thing. The online dating scene a decade ago really was making me depressed too. A lot of women don't like me on there, so like that never helped me. That only fueled my depression and the lowering of my self-worth. And so that was also something I was dealing with. And also video gaming, a tremendous amount. That's always been a thing for me in my childhood. It was to game, to kind of like get away from stuff, especially during my depression. And especially these last couple weeks I've been a fucking train wreck. And smoking cannabis all day too, so that's been an addiction on and off for me as well. And it's the woman that I was seeing. I've said I was going to change too many times. I've cheated on her. I've talked to other people behind her back, even recently, and I haven't met anyone or cheated in months and months and months. But regardless, my sexual addiction and my shame made me become even more isolated. I spent less time with her. I texted her less. Not probably, but because I was ashamed of my actions. I felt like I couldn't even be genuine with her. And it was hard for me to show interest because I was so ashamed of what I had previously done and that we tried to get through as well. So on this past Thursday, she let me know that she wanted me to work on myself and she was going to pursue other people. And I'm not going to get into that whole stuff that's been happening the past couple of days with that, but that whole situation is definitely worse than this because when she spoke to me on Thursday, I definitely was at my wit's end. I moved from my dad's house to my mom's house, and my mom's been going through a lot of spiritual growing, and being in this environment has made me feel even worse because I was still looking at porn, and I was still gaming all day, and I was still smoking all day. And yes, I got more stuff done throughout the house. I was more productive in this environment, but it made me feel worse also when I would do the things that I knew I didn't want to do, that I knew were my inauthentic self. And so when she talked to me on Thursday, my former partner, I was very receptive to it because in my journals I've been so like at my wit's end and just wanting to change and just feeling so hopeless and just being so depressed, especially with 2020, how shitty that was for me and my job and not having a job and feeling like I don't have a purpose, and then on top of the porn and the self-esteem. And so when she was talking to me on Thursday, I was ready to stop gaming. I was getting really fired up, and I was very passionate about it. And then I find out she's pursuing other people. So at the same time that I come to this epiphany that I want to finally start making changes and actually sell my systems, get this crap out of my life, and not have this be something that's part of me anymore. It's just a fantasy. It's just all this porn and this gaming. It was a fantasy, a way to escape the main issues and the main problems. And I've been crying every single day since. And on Tuesday, I had a major mental breakdown over my former partner, and then also just all the things I'm going through. I wanted to go through some of this with her, but that's not possible now. So facing all my demons, fessing up to a lot of my darkest, facing my darkest sexual secrets to my mom and also my oldest brother, was one of the hardest things I had to do, because I did tell my former partner as well some of my darkest secrets, and I never thought I would ever tell anyone in my life. And I've been opening up tremendously since Thursday. I haven't looked at porn or played a video game since then. I've been doing walking. I'm looking for groups. If I can log on to this darn website on my computer, I can make a video about it. But sacredsons.com, I'm going to do a group chat on there today about just alchemy and trying to transform yourself, and with a bunch of men. It's going to be really good. I'm trying to find a bunch of different avenues. Sex and Love Addiction Anonymous. I heard about that. I'm looking into that. I'm going to try to do one of those online meetings and use their resources. I'm so proud of myself for these past couple of days, and I can already feel like the dopamine detox kind of fading away. I can feel my mind changing. I can see that I can, when I think about what I've done and feel the urge or feel even the thought of looking at porn, I just get disgusted now. And it's only getting easier for me. And the more I talk to people, and the more open I am, and the more I forgive myself, and the more I look to God to help me stay true to keeping my thoughts and my emotions, and most importantly, my actions in line with my true self, so that I can feel proud of myself first and foremost, and so that I can accept that same love and that same compassion from others, and not feel unworthy of that attention and care. And I know a lot of people are probably going through a lot of stuff this year, and last 2020 and this year too. And my channel is going to start being more about this stuff right now as I'm going through this process, and me making potential recommendations for websites that I'm going to, or Android applications that I'm using currently that are helping me out and giving me resources, giving me a way to get out of my headspace right now, because I'm really torn apart, and I'm trying to build myself back up at the same time that I'm getting stomped on by someone, to an extent. There's just been a lot of emotions for me and a lot of things coming up, and it's been very difficult. And if anyone's going through hard times, I pray that you get through it. And if you haven't even started yet, I really hope that you look into my eyes and understand that going through this pain right now is definitely worth it. Things may get worse from here on out this year, and you want to make sure that you're right spiritually, that you got your own house in order, because you don't want to be trying to fix this stuff when things get worse. So I appreciate anyone that watches this, and it really means the world to me. And I'm gonna have to keep making videos, because this is definitely gonna give me a good outlet to just communicate some of my thoughts and my fears. And I really appreciate it, guys. Have a great day. God bless.